When you wake up in the morning and stare at the ceiling, do you ever ask yourself, is this it? Is this my life? If the answer is yes, know this, your soul is knocking at the door, because deep inside, you know you were born for more. That thought isn't random. It's a calling. It's the beginning. We live like we're on autopilot. Work, home, routines, repeating days. But then why does the heart feel empty? Why do we feel a void inside, even when everything on the outside seems fine? Because the mind is asking for growth. It wants to evolve to the next level. Consciousness is not just thinking. It's a ladder. Each step is a new perspective on the world, on yourself, on your purpose. And the higher you climb, the clearer life becomes, the stronger you become. There are 7 levels of consciousness. Each one is a portal. Through it, you can transform your thinking, your energy, your reality. This isn't mysticism. It's inner evolution. It's a path upward toward freedom and financial abundance. The first level of consciousness is survival. People here live in fear. They fear losing their jobs, going hungry, getting sick, being poor. Their entire mindset is focused on one thing: how to survive. There's no growth in this state, only struggle. A person at the survival level constantly feels anxiety. They limit themselves in money, in dreams, even in love. An example: someone who says, "I just need enough for food and rent." They can't even imagine living differently. If you see yourself in this, don't blame yourself. Almost all of us have been at this level at some point. But if you're hearing this now, your mind is already trying to break free. And that's the first step. It means you're already growing. The second level is safety. Here, the person begins to seek stability. They don't just want to survive, they want comfort. They want to save money, feel secure, build a cozy life. But it's still driven by fear, just wrapped in prettier packaging. At the safety level, people often get stuck. They don't work for their dreams, they work for their insurance. Their goals are not growth, but cushioning. They won't take risks because they're afraid to lose what they already have. They might say, "Why risk starting a business? Better to keep my stable, though boring, job." They don't realize fear still rules their life, it just looks more reasonable now. The third level is belonging. This is a step forward. Here, the heart awakens. The person wants to be part of something bigger. They seek love, support, friendship, family, community. This is the level of emotion and connection. They start to realize, alone, they're nothing. Being in a circle of people who understand and uplift them becomes vital. Spiritual searching may begin here, a desire to find one's tribe. But there's a trap too. People may become dependent on others' opinions. They might make decisions not from the self, but to be accepted. That's not true freedom, it's emotional dependence. The fourth level is esteem. Here, a person starts to feel their inner power. They want to achieve, to become someone, to leave a mark. Ambition is born, the desire to act, to build, to earn, to influence. At this level, entrepreneurs, leaders, and visionaries are born. A leaping mindset happens. The person realizes they can shape their destiny. They don't wait, they create. But here too, there's a shadow. If esteem becomes the goal, pride can arise. The person may chase status and forget the soul. They work for applause, not truth. Outwardly successful, but inwardly empty. The fifth level is growth. This is the level of the soul. Here, a person starts asking, "Who am I? Why am I here? What is my purpose?" They seek not just success, but meaning. They read books, study spiritual practices, take courses, start meditating. Money no longer interests them as much, they seek depth. And the strange thing, this is when real wealth begins to appear. Why? Because money follows meaning. When a person walks their true path, their energy becomes magnetic. They're no longer performing, they're serving. And the universe responds. The sixth level is intuition. Here, a person begins to hear their inner voice. They don't rely solely on logic anymore. They feel. And that feeling leads them to hidden treasures. They notice signs, follow inspiration, go where their soul pulls them. Their choices may look strange to others, but they're always right. They live in the flow. And the flow is the most powerful ally of wealth and happiness. At this level, People create projects that inspire others. They become mentors, guides. They're not just successful, they change lives because they act from within. The 7th level is enlightenment. This doesn't mean being a saint. It means seeing the world as it is, without fear, without expectation, without struggle. The person feels one with everything. Their thinking becomes limitless. At this level, a person lives in full trust with life. Their energy is pure. Their words heal. Their presence shifts the room. They can earn millions, but never cling to money, because they know they are the source. Many great teachers, masters, philanthropists, and spiritual leaders act from this place. Their consciousness is not bound by fear. They don't fight, they radiate. And money is simply a reflection of their inner light. Now the important question, which level are you at? And are you ready to go higher? Because growth begins with honesty. Acknowledge where you are now, and believe you can rise to the next level. If you're reading this, your ascent has already begun. You don't have to jump straight to the 7th level. This isn't a race, it's a journey. For some, it's slow and steady. For others, fast and painful. Everyone has their rhythm. The key is to keep moving. If you're at level 1 or 2, it's not failure. It's your starting point. Think of a tree, it begins with a seed. It's not ashamed of its roots, they're its foundation. So are you. Your fear is simply a signal it's time to grow. Remember this truth. Wealth begins with awareness. With the moment you start noticing your thoughts, when you stop living on autopilot, when you ask, "Who am I?" Don't judge yourself for the level you're at. Consciousness isn't a competition. It's an inner light that slowly brightens. And you've already lit it because you're seeking answers. Think back to moments in your life when you felt inspired, when your heart beat faster, when you knew this is mine. That was a touch of your true level, of who you really are. Then life pulled you back again, doubt, routine, opinions. That's okay. Consciousness moves in waves. The key is not to stop. Every time you return to yourself, you grow stronger. Here's an example. A woman spent her whole life fearing being fired. She clung to a job she hated for security. One day, she quit. A year later, she opened her yoga studio. Today, she's happy and successful. What changed? Her level of consciousness. She stopped fearing. She moved from fear to growth. And money flowed to her as a response to her inner freedom. Because money loves the brave, but not the reckless. It loves the conscious. Or a man who suffered 4 years, feeling worthless. He felt small because he hadn't made it. Until one day, he realized his gift was helping others. He became a coach. And today, he inspires thousands. When you live from the soul, money comes. Maybe not instantly, maybe not in familiar ways. But if you're connected to yourself, you'll never remain in poverty, because you become a magnet, an energetic center. Each level of consciousness affects your decisions. People on the lower levels choose from fear. People on the higher levels from love, inspiration, and service. That's why their choices lead to success. Want to know what level you're at? Look at your main thoughts during the day. Are they fearful? What if it goes wrong? Or are they full of ideas, energy, inspiration? Your thoughts are the mirror of your level. Don't try to skip levels. It's like building a house. No roof without a foundation. But staying in the basement forever. Foolish. Climb floor by floor. One day, you'll reach the top. Sometimes moving up a level is painful. It's like waking from a long sleep. The light stings your eyes. Everything feels unfamiliar. You lose old friends, habits, environments. But that's a sign of growth. The old leaves, so the new can enter. Moving from fear to power is like escaping a cage. At first it's terrifying. Your hands shake. But then you realize you're free. And you start to breathe fully. The world may not change overnight, but you begin to see it differently. Even if the problems remain, you are no longer the same. You are capable of more. And that new perspective creates new reality. That's why it's so important to observe yourself. Notice how you react. When you're irritated, ask, why? When you're scared, ask, of what, exactly? Consciousness grows through questions, not through blame but through honesty. Another example, a teenager from a poor neighborhood who chose books over stealing. He grew up in fear and limitations. but his consciousness was higher. And now, he's a millionaire because he refused to settle for the lower level. We don't live by external reality. We live by our inner level. One person builds an empire in poverty, while another loses millions because their mind is stuck in fear. Everything begins inside. If you want more money, don't start with your wallet. Start with your mind, with your soul, with awareness. The level of thinking always comes before the level of income. First, you become someone new, and only then does the new life come. It's not magic, it's energy. You are a transmitter. You radiate either fear or power, doubt or faith, and money, like a sensitive being, always flows to those who radiate inner worth. That's why every time you say to yourself, I am worthy, I can, I will succeed, you rise. You shift to a new frequency, and there you find new opportunities, new people, new money. That's why it's so important to surround yourself with what nourishes you. Listen to inspiring podcasts, read powerful books, stay close to those who lift you up, not pull you down. Consciousness grows in the right environment, and remember, you've already started. You've already taken the first step, and that's the most important part. Because the hardest thing is not the summit. The hardest thing is to rise from where you are. And you did it. That means the summit is already within reach. Each day, you become more confident, even if it's not visible right away. It's happening inside. You notice fewer doubts, more calmness. That's a sign of growth. A higher level of consciousness always brings inner peace. But don't wait for the perfect moment. It never comes. Act now, with what you have. Today, you can take one small step toward more, and that step might be the most important one. As you grow, decisions become easier. You no longer need to doubt endlessly. You begin to hear yourself and trust yourself, and that is the key to any goal, because inner certainty creates outer results. Here's a simple way to check your energy level. See how inspired you feel. If you're in flow, if ideas are coming, if you feel like creating, you're on a high frequency. If everything irritates you, it's time to grow. You can't stay at the bottom and expect to be noticed. You have to shine, be bright, be brave. True consciousness is always visible. People feel it. It doesn't need to prove itself. It simply is. And when you shine, you begin to attract opportunities, people, money, not because you beg for them, but because you've become the kind of person they naturally gravitate toward. This is the highest form of consciousness alchemy. Remember, your inner state always manifests in the outer world. That's a law, no exceptions. So if you want to change your life, first, change your consciousness. Everything else will follow. It's like tuning a radio to a certain frequency. If you're tuned to fear, you'll hear only anxiety. If you're tuned to power, inspiration will come, and that inspiration will guide you to the right people and events. You don't have to do it all alone. There are people out there who also burn within a fire. On a high level, you begin to recognize them, and with them, the journey becomes lighter. A conscious community means support and growth. Don't be afraid to change. Yes, it's scary, but being stuck is even scarier. It's far more painful to live a life that isn't truly yours. Right now, you can choose a new direction, and the universe will support you. Every morning is an opportunity to choose, to live at the old level, or to rise higher, to fear, or to be inspired, to doubt, or to act. This choice defines you, not once, but every single day. Sometimes the simplest step is to say to yourself, I'm ready, not I'm sure, not I'm worthy, but just, I'm ready. Because readiness opens the door, and behind that door, a new life is already waiting. You are not a victim of circumstances. You are a creator, even if everything around you seems grey right now. Remember, it all begins with a thought, one bright thought, and your reality begins to change color. This isn't poetry, it's energy. It's time to understand you have no flaws, only levels. And if you're struggling with something, it just means you've found a growth zone, not a zone of shame, not a zone of fear, a zone of development. And in it, you become stronger. Every level comes with a lesson, And if you learn it, the next one opens. But if you run, you go in circles. So be honest with yourself. Ask, what is this situation trying to teach me? Everything in the world is a reflection of your consciousness. When you change, everything changes. Literally, you begin to see beauty where there was boredom, opportunities where there were walls, because inner light illuminates outer reality. When you raise your level, you stop needing. You simply live. You don't cling, you radiate. And that's when true abundance arrives, because you have become free. It's not freedom from the world. It's freedom in the world. Freedom within, despite the outer noise. Freedom to be yourself. And that inner power makes you a magnet for everything you once dreamed of. And do you know what else happens on a high level? You start to give. You're no longer afraid there won't be enough. You know, the more you give, the more you receive. It's a law, and it never fails. And you stop comparing yourself to others, because you know for sure you are unique. You have your own path, your own rhythm, your own horizon. And someone else's success no longer makes you envious, only inspired. You begin to appreciate the simple things. A smile, the wind, silence. It's not naivety, it's maturity. Because only at a high level can you truly enjoy life, not depending on the external, but feeling the internal. If you've read this far, know this, you're already on the path. There aren't many people like you. Most stop, get distracted, don't listen. But you're listening, and that means you're waking up. And soon, everything will begin to change. Now you have a choice, a simple and powerful one, to stay at your current level, or take a step up. And it doesn't matter how small the step is. What matters is taking it. The rest will follow. You're capable of more than you think. Much more. Not because you should, but because there's light inside you. And that light can illuminate the world. Just let it shine. Now, take a deep breath. Feel how it becomes lighter inside. Warmer, quieter. That's your new level. It's already near. And you are ready for it. Because your time has come. If you've made it to the end, it's not by accident. It means your soul is ready for a new level. You've felt that a power lives inside you, and now it has awakened. Now, it's time to act. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next video. In it, I'll show you how to calculate your financial code using numerology and discover what kind of wealth flow is hidden in your date of birth. Like this video, if this path of awareness inspired you, and be sure to write in the comments, I'm rising higher, to anchor your intention. If this video gets 50 likes, I'll release a powerful episode on how to reach a level of consciousness where money flows easily and naturally. It all begins here. It all begins